Like you said, to Trump, but they're getting booty.
They said, go out there and rob these houses and bring back the bounty, and then that'll pay your way.
Because Republicans who get endorsement from the Libertarians, they mean anything.
You can't sit on the sidelines any longer. You must get involved in the game. This is your sign. Everybody, good evening. Welcome to Small Town Underground. It's Wednesday. It is June the 4th, 2025. And tonight we are going to do a special live panel with 4 of the candidates that are running for the state GOP. One thing in common is and none of these 4 candidates signed the disparagement agreement. I salute them for that because I wouldn't have anybody sign that agreement. And so we just want to kick back tonight and just do a special shout out to them. We've met them along this campaign trail. We've talked to other candidates on the trail, and we're getting down to the convention on June the 7th. So we thought that we would just bring a live panel in tonight and let them have their platform to speak their candidacy, as well as we'll take some questions from the audience. We're only going to take questions, no statements. And just let them have a night where they can just breathe and we can get this out in the open. So we do have more people popping in, and I will be setting that up. So I definitely want to go ahead and welcome Lisa Pierce and Norine Cantor and have Laurie McClain in the waiting, and David Cross will be with us. So what I'd like to do, guys, is just start off with each one of you. And I do have a couple of questions, and we'll start with Lisa first. And basically, just take a little time and tell everybody who you are, what you're running for, and we wanted to explore your platform. What do you want to do for the state GOP, okay?
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to start with you, Lisa.
Okay, great. My name is Lisa Pierce, and I am running for first vice chair. I am currently the Upson County chairwoman. I have been in that position for about 23 months now, and I was just reelected to my second term. And so I've lived all over the state. I started out in Gwinnett County, then I moved to Bibb County, Hall County, Cherokee County, and now we live in a 30-acre farm in Upson County. For 27 years, I worked in the pharmaceutical and medical device companies, and I've worked all over the state in every large city and small city, every hospital system within the state of Georgia. So I really do have a unique ability because I've had to work with all kinds of people all over this state. And what I'm running, the reason I'm running is that we've got to have people on the executive committee that are going to stand strong with Trump, that are going to push forth all of Trump's agenda. And that includes hand-counted, hand-marked paper ballots, including one-day voting. It's the only way we can have an audible vote. And also, I am the only one running who is in an under 80,000 county. Sorry, there's things I hear people talking.
Yeah,
sorry.
is there somebody that's talking in a room somewhere, maybe?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's sorry, it was a little distracting.
That's all right. It's going to be, we all have
but-
separate audio coming in, so it might be a little interesting, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all going on in Norine's house, but anyhow, so I was saying that I'm the only one that lives in and represents an under 80,000 county. So we are the true grassroots of the state of Georgia. In fact, out of the three running, I can say that I am the only one who wrote a resolution from our county to support Senator Colton Moore and asked for Speaker John Burns to resign. Because that's important. We have to support the true grassroots of this state. And the last reason I'm running is because I am a proven leader. As a county chair, our number one job is to increase membership, but it's also to deliver the results on election day in the ballot box. And if you compare 2020 to 2024, if you look at a percent change in our county, we had a 3% increase in Republican votes, but a 2.55% decrease in Democrats votes. But if you look at the raw numbers, we actually had a 13% increase in Republican votes. And that's what I bring to this position. I bring true leadership. I've been a chair. I've been very successful chair. And in my job before, when I worked in the corporate world, I built teams. I didn't create chaos. I built teams. I know people and I know how to form teams, form strategic plans so that way we can win. We've got a very important election coming up in 2026. We've got a governor, an attorney general, secretary of state, but more importantly, we have to change that Democrat senator to a Republican. And the only way we can do that is a grassroots organization.
Right.
We won't have Trump Force 47. We need our own grassroots organization, but we've got to build that now.
Right.
And I have great ideas in that because when I came in, I had no experience and we had no training. I had no way to ask anybody. I would ask our under 80 chair, hey, can I get this phone number of the chair that's in the next county over? And it was like you had to have the secret decoder ring to get that information. You couldn't even, there's no communication. So I had to formulate the strategic plan. I had, to make a winning plan for us to win here in Upson County until Trump Force 47 came along. And that to me is not the way that we win. And
Right.
We've got to win. We have no option. And the last thing I want to tell you is that I do not unite with people. I unite with principles, and that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that I gave a six-figure income up because I would not take an experimental vaccine. I walked away from a very, very
Amen.
successful and lucrative career, but I did it because of principles. So we need true grassroots leaders. I am that leader. And there's one last thing I want to say, because I heard something that was very disturbing today. I have a service dog that I come at every event with me. She goes with me everywhere.
Beautiful
dog. Thank you. And I've heard some very snide comments, but I want to make it perfectly clear that my dog is a medical alert dog. So if anybody says anything about it being an emotional support dog, it's insulting and it's not true. She's a medical alert dog, and I don't want to hear another word about that, because it's wrong and it's vindictive and vile. And this campaign has been nothing but that.
Yes.
And I've tried to stay above board and stay positive, but that is not gonna sit well with me. And what you will know about me is that I will speak my mind. And maybe that's the problem. But if that's the problem, I'll be the solution.
Wow.
That's it. That's all I gotta go.
I got a follow-up question. Are you telling me that that's the best they could come up with, is to attack your dog? Is that...
I guess
is that it?
That,
so now they're attacking dogs.
Attack my dog and attack the fact that I said something about putting a ring through a bull's nose. Yes, it is. Because right now,
I just wanted to clarify that.
GOP, the Georgia GOP is being led around by the legislators. That's not the way it should work. We should be leading the legislators, and if that's offensive, I'm sorry. That's the way. That's the truth. And we've got to have people that are actually going to stand up to the legislators and set it straight.
Boy, I can't agree with you more on that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Get a little passionate about
well,
it.
I agree. And look, let me just clarify a couple things for the audience out there. If, this whole entire thing, especially to the newcomers, is like some of the most ratchet stuff I've ever seen. Right. And so we continue on this show to focus on the facts, the objectivity of it, which is these four candidates and what they are talking about, just as if we'd focus on any other candidates. So we're not out here tonight to do a bunch of barn burning and mudslinging. We want to bring the facts to you, and you're right about that, Lisa. Our legislators lead the GOP at the moment. I mean, it's evidently clear. With some of the things that we see online and how they treat us and the breadcrumbs that we got from this last legislative session. And if people put as much passion into the legislative session as they have put into this GOP convention, we may have stopped a lot more of the crap that went through. And so I want to remind everybody out there that while you're ready to just, go to blows over this GOP convention, where was that passion when we were passing tort reform, when we were passing the Roundup chemical bills? I didn't see it over there, but all of a sudden over here it's alive. So that's just my 2 cents. Anyway,
I agree.
So thank you for that, folks. And again, I want to give you guys the opportunity at the end. But where can people find out? There's a few days left. Where do you want to send them to look at your campaign?
Awesome. Thank you so much. So they can find me on my website. It's Lisa, 4ga.com. They can find information there. You can also find me on X at Lisa LP23. So please, or you can call me. I'll give you my phone number. It's 478-718-1780. Call me. I'll answer any questions that you have. I'm open and honest. So just give me a call.
Yeah. And
thank you, Roy, for giving me this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. And we're going to give the audience the opportunity, right? We're going to let them ask some questions. So if you got some questions and you want them answered tonight, let's look at them. Okay. And by the way, her social media, she takes a lot of pictures of her farm and her farm animals, and it's very cool to even look at. So I like to keep a check on you and just see what you're up to on the farm. So
yes, you never know what's happening at the farm.
Absolutely. So we're going to move on to Norine Cantor. We'll be bringing David Cross on the screen here in just a second. So Norine, I want you to take it away. Let's tell people who you are, what you're running for. Give us your vision for what you're wanting to see. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Roy. I'm Norine Cantor. I'm running for second vice chair of the state. But I'm not running just to sit on the sidelines. I'm running to lead and lead a grassroots group because, like Lisa said, we need grassroots. We need strong grassroots in the Capitol. I have run many campaigns. So I know how to do things on that aspect. The Freedom Caucus scores just came out today.
Oh,
and
yes.
my rep is a 45. Is not good. So he needs to be primaried, but we'll talk about that later. And I did run against him, and all I did was talk about the voting scores, but I didn't win. But people now understand what a voting score is. So now when I say that, people go, oh, I understand. That's not good. No, it's not good. So we've got to make changes down at the Capitol. This party belongs to we the people, not to people who make backdoor deals all the time. We have to give it back to the people because they're the ones that need to grow the party, and we need to grow this party, and we need to be where people will feel confident about giving money to the Georgia GOP, where we can help grassroots candidate and not just to the candidate. So we've got a lot of party building to do. We've got reform to do. And we have to get accountability in there. I mean, they did get rid of Jeff Duncan, so that was a good thing. So they held him accountable, and they made it where he could never run on a Republican ticket again. So they believe in accountability. So that's a good thing. But we've got other candidates and other people that should be in the same position that Duncan is, that don't need to be running as Republicans. Right. So we need to empower the grassroots, and we need to support the base. And also we need to win elections. And that's the key thing. We have to get everybody with boots on the ground and get 2026 going this summer and get everybody involved. I mean, we don't have Trump, but we could make one, like David says, we could make something like Trump Force 47, because we've got the people that'll do it, because it was proven. And with Trump Force 47, we can get the people out there, because there was a lot of them out there supporting Trump, calling, door knocking, going to rallies and everything. So they're out there and they want to help, and they want to make sure we get the right Republicans in office. So that's a good thing. We just need to build the grassroots and support our party.
Right.
And I'm a fighter. I don't sit on the sidelines. So we need to get a movement, and we need to save our future and keep Georgia free, because right now I don't feel like it's a free Georgia. I think that we're heading in a really bad direction.
I agree with you.
Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, I haven't known you very long. All of our paths have crossed. I met you at the MAGA Georgia, and everybody that I asked about Norine Cantor said she's been involved in just about everything for a long time,
Yeah.
And working. And just one thing I'd like to add to what you're saying, and I'm gonna hit on this when I go to my questions for you guys, but I get cold chills thinking about it, because I had given up on elections a long time ago until I saw the movement that was going on in the state, and I could have cared less about paper ballots. When I saw the movement from just regular everyday citizens in this state, and I said, I got to stop and take a look at this. And I looked at it, and I started meeting people, and I got it. And I was like, you can't. I would like to see another state that has as many people with boots on the ground that have absolutely nothing to lose, that are in absolutely nobody's pocket, that are out here working and volunteering every single day to make Georgia better, make politics better. I get overfilled thinking about it. But you're right. We give this party back to the people and let the people go and see what it's just amazing.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean,
I
it will be amazing how much we could grow that party and get people involved, because we've got to win. And we've got to get back together, because right now we're so divided. I mean, like Lisa says, we have been attacked and treated, and it's been awful. with the attacks, but in another way, it's been wonderful because we have traveled so many counties in this state, and we have met so many nice people that are supporting us. And they also say, when you get in, give me a call. I want to help. I want to help. Mm-hmm. People want to help. So we've got to put them to work. We've got to win this together.
Right. Good deal. I appreciate that, Laurie. All right. I said Norine. I got Laurie on my mind here, so Laurie is next. So I just want to say a special thank you, Laurie, for coming on the show. You are currently the treasurer of the state GOP. You're running for re-election. We met over in Gainesville. I was intrigued by what you had to say, and I've been following everything ever since. So we wanted to platform you tonight, get to know our audience. So you've seen all these faces already, and we just kind of wanted to do a live panel tonight right before the convention. So Laurie, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Roy. I appreciate you doing this. As you said, I am the current treasurer of the Georgia Republican Party. And, and for me, that role is very different than somebody who's running for chair or first or second vice chair. I have a very specific role. My job is to protect the party. And that is what I have really focused on trying to do. As the treasurer, I think I have three main responsibilities. And the first one, obviously, is to file our compliance reports, which I do on a monthly basis. The second one is to prepare financial reports that are more management oriented for our state committee and state executive committee meetings. And as a matter of fact, we have a state committee meeting tomorrow, and I have got about a 6-page report almost completed that I will have available for that meeting tomorrow that I think will encapsulate the last 2 years onto a few sheets of paper. But the third thing that I've kind of added to the job description is the training of our various county and district treasurers. There's an awful lot of times where not everybody is comfortable handling other people's money. And so you'll get treasurers who are dragged into that job kicking and screaming because they can't find anybody else to do it. And maybe it's not their favorite thing in the world, and they're not really sure how to deal with some of these issues. And so they can call me anytime, and we sit down and walk through whatever their challenges are and get them resolved. And so I think that's one of the best parts of the job is the ability to help so many people. So that's what I have done for the last 2 years, and obviously I would love to continue to do that. Really quickly, if there's anybody out there that I haven't spoken with or hasn't heard of me, just want to give you a quick rundown of some of my credentials. The treasurer's job in our state party rules requires that the treasurer be a CPA, an accountant, a bookkeeper, or a financial advisor. And I kind of meet all of those requirements. I have a BBA in accounting from Georgia State University, so I'm a certified public accountant. I'm a certified forensic accountant. I have a master's in taxation, which I got from Georgia State University back in 2017. I'm also a member of the Taxation Advisory Council of the Georgia Society of CPAs, and I currently teach principles of accounting at a local university. I have 39 years of experience in the financial and accounting field, and I'm currently working on my Master of Legal Studies at Texas A&M. So I meet, there's only one person in this race that meets the qualifications to be treasurer. Okay. So I'm not, I'm just laying it out there the way they wrote the rules. I didn't write the rules. And just if the credentials don't matter to you, my first question would be, if you think the treasurer is supposed to be a rubber stamp, I'm not your girl. But let me tell you a little bit about some of the experience that I've had that makes me uniquely qualified for this job. I am also the current treasurer of the 9th Congressional District Republican Party. I am the current vice chair of the Gwinnett Transit Advisory Board. I am former first vice chair and former treasurer for the Gwinnett GOP. I did run for county commission in Gwinnett County both in 2012 and 2020. I was served on the chairman's budget review committee for 2 years. And I've been on many other committees in Gwinnett County, most of which were financially related. And because that is my strong suit, and that's where I kind of shine. And just finally, I just want to give you guys Lisa was telling us that she started off in Gwinnett County. I want to ask you one day, Lisa, where in Gwinnett County? Because I've lived here for 51 years, and I've basically been on the same street the whole time. But I am married to a wonderful man who is a retired DeKalb County firefighter who saved my life in 2018 when I had what should have been a fatal heart attack.
Wow.
I put myself through college, and while I was doing that, I worked full time as a legal secretary for a law firm. And not only was I a legal secretary, but I was the office manager. So guess what? I managed the finances. I'm 20 years old and I'm managing the finances of a law firm. So I just want to reiterate one thing though. As an accountant for almost 40 years, my integrity and my character are even more important than my tax and accounting skills. And I have worked very hard to be transparent and give the party exactly what it needs in terms of understanding our finances. So I think I have shown that transparency and trust and training is a big deal for me. I have tried very hard to run an honest and positive campaign because I believe we are better together. And while discourse is good, discussion is better. So I submit to folks that if you have a question about me, if you're hearing something you're not sure about and you want to know the answer, call me. I don't have a Facebook page for the campaign. I don't have a website. My cell phone number is plastered all over everywhere, but just real quick, it's 770-841-1100. And anybody can call me anytime, and I'm happy to answer any questions that they may have. I think it's very important that we are all in the same boat, rowing in the same direction, because otherwise we are not going to get rid of John Ossoff in 2026. And I think that's our major goal right now. So we all need to be working together. And I'm looking forward to the next 2 years as the treasurer of the party.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that, Laurie. And I just want to point out to the audience, each one of these people that I've went out of my way to talk to, we've bumped into each other somehow where if I had a question about something or I read everything you sent to me, I've never once been denied a conversation with any of these four people about something or a question that I had or something that was online that they couldn't explain. And I just want to point this out, Laurie. After we did our interview together, I was watching some of these Facebook threads. I try never to comment on Facebook because it never goes. You can't win an argument in a Facebook fight, you know. But I noticed that you were being attacked for something specific, and we don't go into that, but you were being attacked for something specific. And I always try to look outside myself or the emotions. And the responses that you were giving were so like common sense. They made so much sense in every question and every angle that somebody was posing to you. It was like, if I didn't even know who this person was, which I really don't know you that well, right? But like, it was just like you stood out as like, there is no BS here. Like the woman is literally saying, this is why this happened and this is why this happened. And I applaud you for that because I was impressed. I was like, she can win a Facebook comment thread. So.
What, yay for me.
Yeah, right. But we appreciate you being on the show. And
you know what, Roy? Let me just interject one thing. When you're telling the truth, it's very easy right?
Yes.
I don't have to worry about what I said to whom because I always tell the truth.
Amen to that. That's what we focus on here, the truth. And we thank you for being a part of this. I also want, before I go to David, I just want to point out to everybody that tonight is Norine's birthday and it's David Cross's birthday. They both, but when we planned this a couple weeks ago, I did not know that. And both of them were like, yeah, we'll do this, even though it's our birthday. So I do want to say thank y'all for spending your birthday evening out here with me and doing this with the audience. So thank y'all. And by the way, folks, like I said, we're going to go to questions here in a little bit. So if you have something, let's ask it. If you want to get in touch with these people, we'll post their numbers on this. So you know, and they'll be at the convention Saturday. They'll be out Friday. You can see them, you know, just ask them anything. So, all right. So next we are moving on to David Cross. David Cross is currently running here, currently the second vice chair, and you are running for the state GOP chair. So, David, welcome back to the show. And again, we're going to give you your chance to platform your candidacy. So, go ahead.
There we go. Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you, Roy. I appreciate you hosting us tonight. You know, listen, the folks at home, when you're watching the screen right now, what you've got out here is you got the Truth Patrol. That's what you've got that's going on here. And my wife has got a fabulous cartoon that shows there's a bunch of people in line. You know, it's a cartoon. They're like waiting in line, like at the, you know, like at a lemonade stand, right? There's a ton of people in the line for comfortable lies, and there's nobody in line for uncomfortable truth. So it's, you know, it really hits home right now, and it's amazing to see what's happening right now. So here's the basic platform where I'm coming from. When I first got involved in this, in the Georgia GOP, it was because of election security. I was told that if I became the second vice chair, if I earned that position, that I would be able to have a voice at the Capitol with our legislators and be able to, you know, maybe have an impact on election security and election reform. And what I found was that as soon as I was elected second vice chair, I essentially got iced out. I was told that I had no role, I had no responsibility, I had no duties, and I felt like I had just won this fabulous, you know, beauty contest, and I didn't get a sash, a tiara, no flowers, no prize money, nothing. I just got totally iced out of the thing. So I just went back to doing more of what I did before, which was making our elections more secure. And I was successful in passing some rules. I think we had at one point like 22 or 23. In fact, it's probably more now. You know, complaints with the state election board that are making headway. It's just unfortunate that they took 4 years, you know, for them to actually get to the point where they're actually doing something about it. But Dr. Jan Johnson has been wonderfully helpful since her appointment. But I'm running for chairman right now for the same reason. I want to return sovereignty to our vote. That's the primary reason. What's developed like in the last couple of months as we've been running this campaign is finding out just more and more deficiencies with what's going on with the Georgia GOP. My critics out there say that I'm going to burn the place down. And what I'll tell you right now is that, to me, the Georgia GOP is a shell of an organization of what it could be. It's capable of being so much bigger and so much more. But there's a small insular group of people that feel like that if you keep it small, you can rule it all. And unfortunately, when you take that approach to running an organization, you know, you have attrition. That's a fancy word for death. You know, and people die off, they move away, and then if you're running a keep it small, rule it all, you know, kind of kingdom, at one point you're going to have one subject, and that's just the king. And so I really want to rebuild this thing. And if you look on my website, crossforgeorgia.com, what you're going to see is 5 key areas that we need to focus on, which is, you know, the Georgia GOP needs to be a voice for the people. Right now, the Georgia GOP is not a voice for the people. It is a one-way radio station that's in broadcast mode only. And it's irritating because people feel like they don't have a voice. So when they feel like they don't have a voice, they walk away. We got to do a better job with member engagement and member growth. as I've gone around the state, I've seen there's a lot of counties that are out there. Some of them, like Lisa's, have been growing because of the effort that she's putting into it. She's not a keep it small, rule it all kind of person. She's a grow it big and make it run and bring in fabulous people. And she was spectacularly successful doing that. That's not going on all across the state. Right. We have to have transparency. That's the third issue. Right now, we've got issues where we don't know like what's going on with the money. I mean, just with me being the financial guy, rooting through some of these documents, and I got to tell you, Laurie does not have an easy job. When
Right.
people are out there, and particularly the chairman is saying, "Oh, all of our information's out there, and you can easily get to it." I downloaded 1,670 pages and rammed it all together in one PDF, and I had to go through and do keyword searches for 2 days. And I'm the financial guy, and I know what I'm looking for.
Right.
The regular people out there have no clue what they're looking for.
And I think they busted the phrase, "Have you checked the FEC reports?" Well, now people are checking the FEC reports, right? So,
yeah, they feel like they have to. I mean,
yeah.
And before they were like, "What's an FEC report?" And so right. People like me and other folks are showing them what you find out there. But here's the thing: if we bring back transparency to this organization, it's going to make it so that there'll be a lot more people that are going to say, "You know what? I'm going to be involved in that." That seems like an organization that's on the up and up, and people know what they're doing, and I can trust the organization, I can trust the finances, and I know that I'm not going to be throwing my money down the toilet. Obviously, I get criticized for this. We need to elect Republicans. All right. So my answer to that is duh. Of course we do. We all know that that's what we're supposed to do. But I keep being reminded out there that I should be wasting time out there telling people we need to elect Republicans. Well, if you need to have that drilled into your head, you really probably don't need to be in the Republican Party. So you right. need to be out there like on roller coasters and slides, or on the short bus. All right. We've got a lot of work to do with electing Republicans. And then the fifth area is we got to fix the corporation, not just the corporation paperwork. We've got to fix the infrastructure of this corporation. We've got to make it so that when a county chair is out there and they're a new person coming in, they've got tools and resources that they can download and use right away to be able to track people. We're still running this organization like it's the 1960s. You go to an event and somebody has you like sign in on a clipboard or something like that, and then Margie types it in and misspells something or gets the name wrong. I mean, I can't tell you how many email addresses or telephone numbers I've come across that are either transposed or just plain old wrong, or somebody forgot to put .com or .mail or whatever that's out there. It's ridiculous. Every single county out there should have an iPad or two where they can use this stuff. Right. We've got to give county toolboxes out there too. There's a lot of work to do. My website, I think we've got, like I said, 22 initiatives, and I will not be able to do it all. So Norine's going to have a lot of work. Lisa's going to have a lot of work. I'm going to put Laurie to work like on day one. She's going to doge this. I almost cursed. She's going to doge this thing. And we gotta do this, and we got to do it quickly, because 26 will be here before we know it. We've got to build the infrastructure to defeat the Democrats. We got to send, Ossoff packing. I know I said that's obvious before, but we've got to go all the way down. We've got to go all the way down the list. All the way down to county commissioners and and school boards. We have this fantastic opportunity right now with Donald Trump as president, blazing the way right now, where we can have a very simple, positive message of, we want you in the party. And if you agree that men are men and women are women, and your kids don't need to be indoctrinated, at school and told what to do, and you believe in God, here we are. Yeah. We're ready for you. And the Democrats are throwing all of that away. And it's a magnificent opportunity to triple or quadruple the size of this party. So yeah. I've been talking way too much, but I'm excited about this. I'm excited about, this weekend. I think I'm going to win. I think we're all going to win. And I think I think once we do, we're going to have a lot on our plate. We're going to have to, unite people, bring around, some of the long-termers, get a lot of the folks that are out there that are kind of like on the fence, are on the fence grassroots people where their heart is in it, but their heart's not in the Georgia GOP, and we need to bring their hearts back to the Georgia GOP.
Yeah, I like what I hear. I mean, you're 100% right about a lot of this stuff, man. And one thing I want to, well, I'm not going to try to get into questions yet, but I'm one of those people that way before this convention was even a thought in anybody's mind, was very skeptical of where I give my money. Okay, it has nothing to do with anyone here on the screen, but I am a paycheck by paycheck liver, and it's a lot for me to donate money to a campaign or to something that I really believe in, you know. But how can you just kind of, anybody, we'll go ahead and start questions, but how, WinRed or whatever it is, what are some ideas? We've got to get people back, because the Republican Party, they take money, they give money to give to candidates so we can network throughout the state. Do you guys have any specific ways that you're going to gain the trust back of people like me, who I'm not out here saying this, it's very hard for me to give. So anybody want to take a stab? Like, that is a huge thing to the people, everyday working class people. What are some ways we can get that trust back?
You know, I'll hop on that really quickly here. So, you know, I got to tell you guys, I have been just blown away by the amount of support that has come my way. You know, to the point now where, I mean, there's people in South Georgia that need help with transportation, and I've got money in my campaign account to be able to help out with those things, because the generosity of the people that believe, you know, in the message and believe in my vision. So
okay.
It's already working right now. I believe that if I'm the chairman and I'm in there, you know, with the help of these ladies, we're gonna blow things away in terms of like being able to provide that level of trust and security and comfort that people need to feel to be involved.
Right.
I mean, Roy, I know that there's tons of people that are out there where, you know, if they can give $10 or $15 a month, you know, that's, you know, for some folks that's out there, it's not easy to do that. There's other people that are out there that can, you know, that have the capacity to do way more. But right now, it's like we're stuck on this giant speed bump that nobody can seem to get over. And it's like this gigantic trust speed bump that we can't get past it. You know, so we've got to provide meaningful communication to people. I mean, right now, for all y'all that are watching from home right now, you know, check your email for stuff from the Georgia GOP. What you're getting is blah, blah, blah happened most recently. Give to the Georgia GOP. Here's the red donate button. And then tomorrow, blah, blah, blah happened someplace else. And that, you know, that's maybe a little bit related to Georgia. And here's the red donate button. You know, there's no compelling message that's on there. You know, there's no reason for people to give. But you know what? If we show that, you know, that your $10 a month and a bunch of other people's $10, you know, per month is helping move the needle on constitutional sheriffs and getting Republican sheriffs elected in counties where Donald Trump won, but there's a Democrat right there right now, we will see waves of people saying, I want to be involved in that. And I know, and people say, like, you know, it's only a tiny bit of money, but it's moving the needle if we get enough people to do it.
Right.
Roy, can I jump on that just real quick?
Sure.
I just want to tell a little story. I used to own a company that managed homeowners associations. And at one time I had 28 subdivisions in Gwinnett County under management. And one thing I used to tell my board presidents is my theory called pine straw and pansies. And what that means is when you're using your neighbor's money around the neighborhood, yes, you have to fix the pool and you have to resurface the tennis courts or you have to paint the bathrooms. But if you don't put some pine straw and fresh pansies down at the front entrance, they're not going to feel like they have gotten their money's worth. And so I'm jumping on with what David is saying. Number one, it's much easier to raise money if you are telling people you have a specific cause that you're raising money for. And number two, when you are raising money and you can go back to people and say, this is what your money did. Now, electing Trump is too huge, is too big. Okay. You know what your money did? Your money was able to send these 5, 10, 20, whatever young people out to do some sort of door knocking or whatever it is. I let the people that are good at that stuff worry about that. But if you can tie the contributions and the donations to a specific activity or something tangible, then you build that trust, and people are more likely to say, I like the way you spent the last money I sent you. I'll send you some more.
Yeah.
Hey, and Roy, I'd like to add to that as well. What they're saying is communicate. How about that? I mean, it's like it's such a rarity. Just have a conversation with people. Communicate with these people.
Right.
I mean, don't make it a secret decoder ring to get somebody's phone number.
Yes.
It's absolutely ridiculous that you have to go through that. And just talk to people. That's what we need. That's what's lacking right now because there is no communication going on. So just do that. And that way you're open. You are transparent. Come to me, ask a question. I'll answer you. I'm not going to ignore you for a month. That's not how you earn trust.
Right.
So that's just kind of my 2 cents on that.
Oh, yeah. That's a good lead in. Norine, go ahead.
Yeah, we have to add value to the people when they give us money. We can't just take it and not do anything with it. Like if we earmark it for a candidate, then we need to keep them updated how the candidate is doing. We have to make sure these people understand their money is going to be well spent, but we have to give them the value for their money.
Right. I agree. And that leads me, you kind of led me into the next one, and we're not getting off into the weeds here, but obviously we know if you've researched, educated, you understand that, and we've got 2 people here already on the state GOP that you guys have not had a lot of communication. You've not had many meetings. It's been pretty much on sort of autopilot from the top. Are you satisfied with that? Is that the way the GOP needs to be ran? Or are you going to do differently? Because we have state committees, we have all these things, and if everybody's just out there in the wind, what good are all of us? Okay.
Listen, totally. So, when I was at the GRA convention, one of the things that I told people is that the business of the party needs to be run like a business, the same way that Donald Trump is bringing business acumen to Washington and pushing out the bureaucrats. For anybody who doesn't know, we basically have got 2 committees that are they're the governing body, right? They are the executive committee. That's a smaller group of about 25 people. And that is the people who are elected to the positions that we're running for. Plus it is the district chairs and a couple of the folks, right? The larger committee is something called the state committee. And I think at last count, I honestly don't know the total number of people because it's a secret, even for a guy that's in the second vice chair.
You're the second vice chair and you don't even know. Right.
I have no idea. I think it's somewhere between 140 and 160.
Interesting.
I'm guesstimating. All right. But here's the thing. It's, and what blows my mind is that if you go to the Georgia GOP website, you'll see the names of people that are on the executive committee, but there's no hyperlinks on their names. You can't email them. You can't contact them. And to what Lisa was saying before, people will get involved and stay involved if they feel like they have a voice. And right now, the Georgia GOP says, thank you very much for your input. We just want your money. So sit back down to the back of class, wait your turn. And if you work your way up at the county, at the county party, and then, at the district, and then maybe one day you can move your way up into the state party. And if we follow that, then this guy would not have been president until he was 110 years old.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
I got you.
Set him back. All right.
So we got Donald Trump on the show.
So here's something that, so Laurie and I have been involved in, several of the same, charities in Gwinnett. And I know that there's been a lot of times when she's been just as busy as I am. And one time I got asked to be involved in like a hospital foundation or a Gwinnett clinic or something like that. I've raised money for like tons of these things out there, and I've been involved in them a lot. And this guy came to me, and Laurie, you know him, Clyde, and Clyde says, I need for you to be involved in this thing. And I was like, Clyde, I'm already over involved. I was like, what do you need me for? And he said, David Cross, he said, busy people get things done. So there's a lot of truth to that. We got a lot of work to do. And several years ago, somebody gave me this book, Fundraising Realities. I don't know if it's coming up on the screen.
It is.
It's actually backwards. Is it backwards when you're looking at it?
It's right.
All right, it's backwards for me. Anyway, so Fundraising Realities. All right. So just to to what Laurie was just saying, here's one of the chapter 7, make your case. All right. It's chapter 18. Forget the fancy. All right. And I've been made fun of because I'm the guy that's saying, hey, we need to have events where it's like $40 to come to an event. We can have 1,000 people there, and I'm being told, oh no, you can't do that. You can't raise any money that way. Bull, we've done it. Yeah. I've slaved over hot barbecue coals, cooking 100 barbecue chickens at one time to raise money for clinics and that kind of thing. We can do this.
Well, sure. And you've got a GOP. Got an army of people that will volunteer.
Yeah, there's not one answer. We're going to have some fancy, some fancy shindigs, but the problem is right now that's all we have, and that doesn't feel authentic,
right?
To the grassroots. They feel abandoned, and we've got to pull them back in, and we've got to get them involved in things. We've got to speak their language, and we're not doing that right now. We're failing them.
Now, just out of my curiosity, both of you guys are on the committee. Are they keeping you in the loop at all right now? Or are you helping with anything? Or, is it just kind of like we're out there in left field? I'm just curious.
I have no clue what is being done or not being done at, the executive level.
Okay. So,
I have, I think that's what I was kind of alluding to earlier is it would be so much easier to fundraise and do things if we had some idea where we were headed. And, David and I, neither one have been involved in any of the decision making or any of the, have had no communication in terms of, what is the plan?
Right.
What are we trying to do? And it makes it hard.
How can you operate like that?
How can you get behind anything if you don't know what's going on?
Right.
Laurie and I are like mushrooms in the closet. They just keep throwing crap on us, and keeping us in the dark. It's ridiculous.
And you do your research, and we're not getting off in anything, but I've seen where both of you have tried to reach out repeatedly. I have actually tried to reach out to other folks that are in the executive committee about certain things, and I don't even get a response back. So I cannot get on board with the fact that you have this executive committee and nobody's having meetings and nobody is put in the loop. You're the treasurer, you're the second vice chair. It's very hard for me to wrap my mind around that. It's that I guess discombobulated. That's something's got to change. Okay, so
can you imagine running like a Boy Scout troop or a Girl Scout troop this way? Zero communication.
Well,
it wouldn't work. People would just be like, I'm done with it. I'm going to go do something else.
I guess I'm looking at things objectively, right? So let's just take away David, Laurie, Lisa, Norine. You all are just NPCs, right? So, and a lot of the situations that you research, right? Because ultimately you're trying to keep yourself and your emotions out of it, and you're just looking at. If any one of all these revelations, if you would have taken NPC 1 out and put in NPC 2 in, right? Just the other person, how the tables would turn, right? But I'm being asked on a daily basis to ignore some of this information and then just only look at these other information. And it's like, wait a minute, if you took that person out of that situation and flipped it, people would be Molotov cocktailing everything, the lawyer, So my point is we have a lot of emotion and feelings and things when we need to look at the objective truth here. The objective truth is that how can a state GOP function under just with no executive committee, no body of people doing anything? It's unacceptable, right?
Right.
And so what I ask is that whoever wins in this weekend, that we change that it no longer is just a single serving, executive committee, and it returns back to the body, back to everybody's working together, no matter what. I mean, everybody's got jobs to do. It's frustrating. And for lack of time, I'm going to save my other opinion about that. So, I want to just tack on a couple more things, and this will be a question for each of you. I have been asked to go onto a training in which I did, in which there's no secret. I support Georgians for Truth, Paper Please, Voter Georgia. The grassroots of this state that are the pinnacle of election integrity, election security, have put together a paper ballot program that is out of this world, that should be studied by every state in this union. And I have seen grassroots army of volunteers, and I sat through their training myself just to see what it was all about. And it is not only a fantastic program, but it is the utmost in accountability, transparency, auditability, everything you would ever want. If these cats sat down in a table in Atlanta, they'd have election security worked out in 15 minutes. So my question for each one of you is, A, have you seen the Georgians for Truth program for paper ballots? And B, would you support paper ballots at the Saturday convention? We'll start with you, Lisa.
I haven't been able to get on any of the trainings because we've had events every night.
Right.
But I am very much in support of having paper ballots. We need to practice what we preach. And so absolutely, yeah, you've got my support.
Okay. Norine?
Absolutely. Trump wants it. We need to follow his lead. Yes, definitely. I plan on getting on tomorrow night and watching it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Laurie?
I haven't had an opportunity to look at the actual program, but here's what I'm going to say. There are people way smarter than me doing that sort of work, and I trust them. And if they say they have a secure way to do paper ballots and we can get the results back in a timely fashion, and let me tell you why that matters, because we all know what ends up happening toward the end of a convention. Okay, people start leaving, and then the next thing you know, you've lost quorum. Mm-hmm. So as long as it can, and I trust it. If they tell me that we can, it's accurate, it's verifiable, it's, timely, et cetera, I'm going to trust the folks that are experts at that and say, let's go for it.
Gotcha. David?
Listen, 1,000%. I mean, a lot of my work has pointed out the fact that, that the election machines don't work in Georgia. I don't trust anything electronic. I don't care how benign it is. I don't care if it's used in a church or anything like that. I don't care if I was elected on the clickers before. That's how you get somebody's confidence. You go, oh, well, hey, you got elected on the clickers, and so got elected on the clickers. And then the next time they run them, somehow the clickers don't work. I mean, listen, I'll tell you right now, if they're bringing clickers, I'm going to make sure that there's jamming devices in there to make sure that those things don't work. We have got to, there's so much work that's been done on the people that have put money, time, and effort into doing the paper ballots. And it is an outright travesty, shame. I can't come up with more, with more vehement words to express my anger that the Georgia GOP is going to spend money, a lot of our money, on using these stupid clickers, in this election. And we should be an example to our state, to our legislature, to the rest of the country. We've got fantastic people that can run these things. I know the people that are involved in it. Their hearts are in it. They've got multiple levels of security. I've never seen a demonstration where they counted anything incorrectly. And the simple fact that the Georgia GOP wants to run this convention backwards. They're going to go out there, they're going to run, chairman first, and then first vice chair, and then second vice chair, and then people start losing interest. And by the time you get to the resolutions and rules and that kind of thing, it's out the window. It needs to go in reverse order.
I agree.
We need to start with, resolutions and rules, and start with the, with the lower offices, and move their way up to keep people's attention. And we got to stay on task and on time. But there's no incentive right now because we have this idiotic way of running this thing to, again, keep it small, rule it all. At this convention this weekend, I think we're going to be lucky if we have 1,200 people at this thing. There should be 5,000.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my frustration with this thing. So,
I want to bring up
I'm a little hot-headed right now.
I want to bring up a point that I've seen a lot on different groups. The argument for the clickers, first off, was people were throwing the word cowardice around. It was cowardice to vote on paper ballots. And so I gave some people just a piece of my mind on when I think of the word cowardice, I think of the legislators in this state, the government officials that are literally selling this state out to the World Economic Forum. That's cowardice to me. I don't think it's cowardice to vote on paper ballots as an executive order and where we're trying to get. But the second sort of argument was, well, David Cross and Brian K. Pritchard, they got elected on the clickers. And I'm sitting here like, are you being for real? Like, do you think I care that David Cross and Brian K. Pritchard were elected on clickers? Like, that's supposed to give me some sort of comfort? I care about transparency, auditability, 100% accountable. That's it. We cannot determine, we should never be able to determine who wins an election. The people voting should be the ones determine it, and no matter the outcome, we want to know that it's right. If people really believe that you're selling me on the fact that so-and-so got elected last time on a clicker, you've missed the entire point of election security to begin with.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
I rest my case on that. All right.
Hey,
yes,
hey Roy,
yes,
real
please.
quick, I just want to say last year when we did the clickers, there were many people around me where the clickers didn't work. So you can't sell me on that.
So
sorry.
I asked just out of curiosity and still have not gotten an answer. I keep hearing the word clickers, right? When I hear paper ballots and I see this program that Georgians for Truth have put on, when I know that what we did in our district, and I said, well, what is the clickers? Okay. Is it a company that comes in and brings it in? Did you go down to Amazon or the dollar store and buy clickers? Where do these clickers come from? How do they work? Can they be audited? Nobody can answer these questions for me. So I just have to go on blind faith that the clickers are the way to go. I'm telling you, it's the antithesis of everything that we fight for. It's amazing to me. Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to ask my last question, and this is for each one of you, and then we're going to go to comments. I haven't even looked at comments yet. I want each one of you. Okay, obviously there is a line drawn in the sand that I did not draw, that I don't think any of you drew, and that none of you are a slate. I don't believe that anybody I don't believe anybody in this race is an actual slate. That being said, there's this line that's been drawn in the sand where it's a one side pitted against the other. And as sad as that is, my question to you is define, a lot of people say the words, oh Lord, if so-and-so gets elected, if this slate gets elected, they're just going to burn it all down. And we have talked about this very thing. So I just want each one of you to answer the question, is your intention to burn it all down? And what does that mean to you when somebody says that? And we'll start back up with Lisa.
Absolutely not. I find that to be insulting and elitist again. Just because you're new to the game doesn't mean that you don't know how to build teams. And I know how to build teams. I know I don't create chaos. I come with solutions. I come from a very large background of building strategic plans, tactics, strategies. I've worked for multi-million-dollar corporations. I've had multi-million-dollar territories and built them out successfully. That is not happenstance. That's done by planning and execution. And it is not that I want to build it down. I actually want to build. I want to duplicate what we did in our county, and I want to duplicate it throughout the state of Georgia. Are you going to have to like tweak it? Absolutely you are. But that's what strategic planning is you have an overall plan, and then there's specific tactics for each county, but we all unify under the big tent. And I absolutely don't want to tear it down. I want us to grow and see growth like we've never had before.
Gotcha. Norine, what about you? You burning this thing down or what?
Nah, we're going to grow it up so big people are going to go, wow, I want to be a part of it. But my jobs have been always in management, and I've always been leaders, and I've always been a good leader from what I've heard. But we need to build leaders up. We need to build the party up. We need to build it big, where people go, wow, I want to get involved in that group. And we need to be a force to be reckoned with once we grow this party up.
Okay. What about you, Laurie? Are you holding the match or what?
Well, in my particular situation, that's almost a goofy question, because as I started off saying, my job is to protect the party. I'm certainly not here to burn it down. And if I was going to it, I'd have done it 2 years ago. You know, I'm running for the same position because I'm good at it. And this is where I can best serve the party. Okay. I have a skill set that I can bring that's very unique, and the party needs it, and I'm willing to donate it. And that's the only reason I'm here. I'm not here to burn anything down.
Okay. David, where are you hiding the flamethrower?
I'm not hiding a flamethrower anywhere. Right? This, to me, it feels like the place is already burned to the ground. I mean, I don't see any great growth plans going on out there. You know, the current chairman, you know, his plan for growth is elect him again. You know, that's it. And I agree with what Lisa and Norine and Laurie have said tonight. I want to grow this thing. And my favorite Donald Trump thing.
Winning. I just say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore.
I never get tired of this.
President, it's
right.
too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't.
I'm telling you, it's Providence. We got him again.
We have to win more. I love it. We got to win more. That's what we need to do here. And right now, we're not winning. We're not even on the ball field.
No. Well, can you believe we've had this resurrection of Trump after all of these years and everything we went through? And the golden age is right there waiting on us. And it seems like Georgia has just slammed the door shut. It's amazing to me. But
we can grab the brass ring right now, or we can let it slip. Yeah. What are you going to do?
All right. Wow. I can safely say this is the largest live stream that we've ever done. I purposely didn't look at the comments. We have close to 300 people watching right now. So holy moly. Wow. So what we're going to do, folks, we've been an hour. We've got to hear each candidate. And if you think that I haven't worked my tail off, I had to forego 2 different interviews this week. I don't know if they would want me to name names or not, simply because we are so strapped for time. And we planned this a couple weeks ago. So I've tried to give everybody a fair shake and appreciate everybody who's come on the show. So we're going to get right into questions. And again, I'm only going to be reading questions for lack of time. So Anna M says, is this on Rumble? Yes, ma'am. It is on Rumble. It's on Rumble, X, Facebook, and we will be posting it to YouTube directly after. Oh, wow. Good people on here. Good people. Let's see. Okay, well, look, there's not that many. I figured we'd have more questions tonight. So let's just go through. David Smith, the GOP needs these patriots. It's the only way we'll turn this ship around. Floyd County patriots are looking forward to voting for all of you in Dalton this weekend. Fight, fight, fight. So that was from David Smith out of Floyd County. Loves You Too says ADA law is very clear about that, and I'm not sure exactly what she means. But
ADA is American Disabilities Act.
Okay.
That's what they're referring to.
Oh yes, about your dog. Absolutely.
dog, yeah.
Come on, people. I mean, there are some below the belt stuff here. Okay, when you start attacking the animals, that's when the fisticuffs is going to happen. Okay, come on. And I have been around that dog like 2 or 3 times, and she's absolutely precious, and it just makes me feel better when she's around. So,
Me too.
so it says they Buster Cantor says they are liars and the sovereign will overcome this present corruption in Georgia, U.S. So thank you for commenting. He says vote for David Cross, Lisa Pierce, Norine Cantor, Laurie McClain, and Kylie Kremer. And I believe Kylie Kremer is doing an X Spaces tonight. We may just jump on over there if it's still going on later. I'd like to go check it out. Loves you too says God bless you, Laurie. And funny that we've talked about burn it all down. Burn It Down 17 says, hey, y'all. That's crazy. Let's see. Buster Cantor says, what can each candidate do to grow the state party? I love David's plan and his strategy to grow the party. So I'm pretty, if you guys want to elaborate on it, I think you've kind of answered that. So is there anything else you want to add to that about growing the party? I mean,
Well, I guess that I mean, what I would like to do is, because of my experience, my last time as the chairman, is to really, and I actually found out that the RNC has a plan for training chairmen, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. But I would also like to put into place a mentorship, because we have some fantastic people who have had many, many years as chair people, and we need those mentors. And I would love to put together a training program for that, and outreach programs. I was talking to Justice in Gwinnett, and
I love him,
we were
man.
talking about the different diversities, the demographics in Gwinnett, and how they're getting together a bunch of Spanish-speaking people. There's a lot of Asians there. We need to start reaching out to all different demographics. Sure. And in my old life in pharmaceuticals, we reached out to each one of those demographics with different types of outreach programs, because it's a different community, and you tailor it to that community. So that's something I'm very, very passionate about, and teaching and educating. So I look forward to doing that.
Yeah, I agree. I had a good conversation with, I don't met her at our GOP, that is Shawnee Zappendorf. She's running for an office. She brought up a lot of the Asian community, right? And how there's 300,000 Asians in Georgia, and her outreach program. Those are the kind of things that we need. Those are the kind of people we need on the ground that are bringing more people together in the GOP, just like you said, getting them under the big tent. We know we've got several people like that. I had a good conversation with Eugene Yu. I'm sure some of y'all know Eugene Yu last week. A wonderful, wonderful dude who is just ready to get in there and get involved. And that is what we love to see. So, absolutely. Okay. Loves You Too says that's pretty opaque, no contact. I'm sorry, but come on.
What does that mean? Opaque, no contact. Who's saying that?
Let's see.
In the context.
It says that's pretty opaque, no contact with I think what she means, or what I'm gathering, is that nobody is contacting anybody. You guys are left out of the loop. That's what I'm getting from that. Is it?
Yeah, I think what that also means too is that is that if you're looking to make connections with people at the Georgia GOP, there's no contact information anywhere on there.
Oh yeah.
And what blows my mind too is that I think on the Georgia GOP website right now, the district chairs, and I think the district chairs' names are still from what they were before, before the most recent elections. I mean, right. It's like you'd think that we could actually keep this thing current.
I've tried to get ours changed for almost 2 years.
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, I understand some of the arguments about people that are taking these roles, and there might have been something that happened, and somebody got somebody got threatened or in some way or shape. I'm out here every day running my mouth just because I want to. I've seen so many people, like we have kind of led some charges just to walk into that Capitol with cameras in front of these people that were just like, whoa, what are you doing? I don't I don't know what to tell you, but if we're going to be a part of this fight and we're going to be volunteering, we need to have the networks and the contacts, and we need to be able to reach out to each other. You know, I've seen a lot personally where it's kind of like, just put on the horse blinders and just look this way, you know. And when you brought up Justice in Gwinnett County, I know Justice. I've talked to him on the phone several times. I mean, like, if I just had my horse blinders on, not paying attention to anybody else or any parts of the state, we wouldn't be half of the army that we are now, and that's what we need to continue to build. So, okay.
Roy, can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, here's my thing. If you don't want people to contact you, then why are you running for public office?
Exactly.
Or why are you wanting to
Boom.
be on state committee or anything? Because once you do that, your name is out there, and they need to contact you. You work for them.
Well,
so if you don't want it, don't run.
If Senator, and props to Colton Moore, my state senator, but if my state senator can be as hated by the Republicans and Democrats alike, by this entire state, and still just say, here's my phone number, call me, I don't think we got a whole lot to worry about. So, anyway, so let's move on here. It says, how much? David says, how much money should the Georgia GOP spend on media booking services to get Georgia Republicans time on mainstream media like CNN, ABC, etc.? Could the GOP better utilize our citizen journalists? Anybody want to take a stab at that?
Listen, I don't think we should be spending any money to get on TV. I mean, like right now we're spending $5,000 a month with some service, that's supposed to put Josh McCoon on TV. I think somebody else is actually going on TV, in his place. But it's $5,000 a month that we're flushing down the toilet because the person who is going on TV on CNN is going on like at 4:20 in the morning.
Right.
What purpose does that serve?
I don't know.
That's the first thing. The second thing is if we're doing something that's newsworthy, you're gonna get on the news. If you're doing something that's newsworthy and good, you're probably gonna get on good news. I have no interest in being on the, on the fake news, as Donald Trump calls it.
Right.
What purpose does that serve? There was an article that was written about me today, and people are saying, David, you're in the AJC, and they said they contacted you.
The AJC,
the Atlanta Journal,
Yeah.
and I had a couple, I was talking with Brian, this morning, have our morning call. And he says, David, they're blowing it up all about you. And I was like, Brian, I don't care. I don't care. Nobody I know that has a scintilla of brain cells is reading the Atlanta Journal and going, oh my gosh, I need to change the way I think because the AJC said it.
I agree
cares?
with that. Yeah, the AJC is something else, man. Ugh. Yeah, it's very hard to take them seriously. So, all right. He says, looking forward to seeing everyone at the Georgia GOP celebration of Festivus this weekend. Yeah, it's going to be a celebration of Festivus. Let's see. Shash 1954 says, we want paper ballot Saturday. Yes, we do. The people have spoken. And I'll say something about that at the end. But he says they bought the new, she says they bought the new clickers, $15,000 to $20,000 per BKP. So I have not seen that yet, but I did hear that clickers have been bought. I'd like to know, was it Amazon? Was it Temu? Was it the dollar store? Is there a simple company name that I can look up a flippin' clicker and verify that it's a clicker? Okay, that's all I want to know.
Hey, Roy.
Yes, ma'am.
Roy, we do have the treasurer online right now. I'm just
Laurie,
saying.
can you tell me where the clickers came from? And just give me a manufacturer. If it was Temu,
Sorry, Laurie.
I'm okay with it. Temu, I hope they got one of them little prize spinners if they did. That's all I know.
I am not aware that any purchases have been made from Temu. So
Okay, well, we cannot
no
verify
little
that.
Chinese clickers.
Okay. Well, thank you anyway, though. We'll keep on top of that. Let's see. Opposite, yes. Okay, guys. So that's
if it. Was
it.
5 digits if it was 5 digits anything, all right. Let's say it's 10 or 12 or $15,000, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
And you got 1,000 people there. that goes right in line with using these idiotic Dominion machines that we've got right now with the
Well,
cost of these things.
again,
If you have 1,000 people at this event and it's going to cost $15,000, that means that each clicker, is a rental of $15 per person.
Right.
Whereas we could use pieces of paper, for pennies. But
Wait,
instead we're wasting
you're
money.
talking about a tangible piece of paper that can be tracked, and if anybody has any questions or doubts, they can literally go back and they can pull the packet and go back to the paper and say, "Oh, I mean, are we going to get a computer with like a dedicated computer that can't get online that you can put up in a lockbox for 2 years to verify that?" I mean, come on, people. Ugh. It's very frustrating. And I want to say this, and it has no reflection on you guys. This is my personal opinion, but I just want to say for the record that I'm so proud. I mean, dang it. I'm so proud of all of these grassroots people. And let me tell you something. The people that have been putting together this ballot program have been completely just about ignored by anybody in any part of this Georgia GOP. And it's very sad. The emails that have been put out, they told me, they said, we want to ship this up to the top. We want everybody from the top down to see this and buy it in. And they have been completely ignored. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because it just makes you feel like you don't matter. Like y'all said, it makes you feel like that none of this matters, that they could just, give you just out the door.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
And the people that have put all the time and effort and energy into doing this, let's say at the next convention, let's say I'm chairman and I say, hey, we're gonna run paper ballots. If it's me, people are probably gonna believe it. If it's somebody else, people are gonna be like, I don't really believe that. You rug pulled me last time. So
sure,
we have to be credible. And right now, current leadership is not.
And I'll say this too, David, and you're on the committee. If the rules do say, we've got a lot of people that want paper ballots, but we're not going to allow, so and so. Okay, well then, whatever you're going to allow, whatever you're thinking, if it's clickers, if it's paper ballots, are you going to be responsible enough to at least show the people and have the people buy into that, have the people give the trust, or are you just going to be an authoritarian and say, screw you, we're doing it this way, and we don't care what you think? So that's.
I think we're on the authoritarian thing. Is that? I mean, listen. That's the way I see things right now.
Yeah, well,
we are on authoritarian road right now.
Well, we need to get off of that road. Is all I can say. We need to get off that road. So listen, I know we're running.
Well, can I say something?
Absolutely, ma'am.
We have to get a convention chair.
Yes, we do.
Immediately, and we have to get someone that's unbiased, not one way or the other, and that will be a true convention chair.
Yeah.
Because one way or the other, like if Josh's want to do it or his friend, we're never going to see paper ballots. But if we get somebody in there unbiased,
right, that
really thinks it's a good idea, then we have a chance.
Well, I agree with you. I think we're going to have a great Sergeant of Arms team there. I'm going to be participating with it. We're going to do the will of the body, just like anybody else. We're going to make sure that we have a great convention and that nobody gets hurt and everybody's there. So, all right.
Hey, Roy, just
yes.
one last thing. I think it's really a sad testament of where we are with the Georgia GOP. The fact that Norine just said what she said, that this is the testament of where we are today with the Georgia GOP. And that has to change.
Well, it's certainly hard to argue against it. Right. Even if anybody could agree. I mean, look, I'm just going to say this. The fact that what I've learned from just the state GOP and how you guys have operated for the last couple of years, that's got to change. Now, regardless, and I will say this, I think we said it from the beginning, no matter who wins this convention, none of you people will be able to so much as sneeze moving forward without somebody either picking up that Kleenex or shouting that, hey, they just sneezed, okay? That is a heavy burden that's going to be on the GOP moving forward no matter who it is. So I guess I'm saying you best be prepared because we're not going anywhere. We're getting smarter every day. So, All right, guys. So what I'm going to do, I want to give you guys each a minute apiece. I give all my guests the last words. And before we do this, I just want to thank y'all for, especially you two, for your birthdays, being here with me tonight. Thanks for just hanging out. I would expected we're over 300 people right now. I'd expected some more questions, but I guess everybody's happy tonight. So I'm gonna start with you. Okay, you get the last word.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, Roy, I want to thank you for allowing us to come on tonight, a few days before convention, for us to be able to share the message, because I know there's a lot of people out there that haven't been able to hear our message. So just understand, we're here to build this organization. I'm here to build this organization. I'm going to speak specifically for me, because we're not a slate. I want the delegates to decide, because that's very important to me. And I want you to understand that I am the best candidate for first vice chair. So that's it. That's all I got.
Well, Lisa, we certainly appreciate your time. Norine?
Thank you.
Thank you, Roy, and y'all. And happy birthday, David. I'm going to go get some birthday cake and ice cream with my family after this.
Gotcha.
I just want to say that I'm a grassroots, America First, Trump supporting candidate with integrity. And I don't say that lightly. I really do have integrity, and I really stand on my morals and values. And I just hope people understand that. And I am who I am, and that's who I am. So consider voting for me at the convention. Thank you.
Thank you, Norine. Laurie?
Well, once again, Roy, thanks for putting this together for us. You know, this campaign, this convention season has been very contentious, and that is incredibly unfortunate. And there are folks out there who are more interested in sharing negative mistruths than they are about focusing on what's best for the party. And I'm just going to say, if you're looking for a treasurer who's actually going to protect the party the way it should be, then I'm your gal. But, you know, if you want a rubber stamp, you know where to go, and have a good time with that. Let me know how it works out. I'm hoping all the delegates know what's best for the party when they get down to Dalton or up to Dalton. So we will see y'all this weekend. And Laurie McClain for treasurer.
Awesome. Thank you. David, you get the last word.
I am really excited, and I feel very confident about this weekend. I think we're going to sweep the floor with Josh McCoon. I think he's on his way out. One thing I do want to let everybody, or just remind everybody, is that the candidates you see on the screen right now, none of us have got the delegate list. I have tried to cobble together anything I possibly can from people who have sent me things and, breadcrumbs from across the state. And if you're watching this show right now and you can go or you can't go, or you just want to lend a hand, please send me an email. It's really simple: dcross108@protonmail.com or dcross108@gmail. You can send me an email. Tell me, that you'd like to help out. We'll put you on the phone bank team. If you're coming, on Friday night and you're going to be up there, I'm going to be hosting, a get together to say thank you to all the people that have helped us, that have been so generous with their time. And it's going to be at a place called the Juicy Seafood. So I don't know how they came up with the name of that place, but it's apparently got just rocking, ratings. And I think we're going to have a couple rooms that can handle 100 people at a time. And we're going to be there from 6 until 10. So my wife, Sean's going to be there, in the beginning. I'm going to be over at the Bannon event for a little bit to do the be there, be seen, be gone, kind of thing. But I was also put in a position earlier this week where I was told that there's a young man that's 18 years old that is he's a delegate, and my understanding is that he has a really serious illness, and he is a huge Bannon fan, and I came across somebody on Tuesday where I said, hey, if anybody has tickets to that event and you don't want to go, I'll buy you dinner, over at the Juicy Seafood. I don't know why I'm saying it that way. It just seems fun. And I had a gentleman that came forward. He said, listen, I'll sell you my 2 tickets. So I immediately bought his 2 tickets, and we're going to get this young man in there with his mom. And
that's awesome.
that's what you're supposed to do. You know, this is this party is about things that are bigger than us. But if you want to help out, you know, reach out to me at the email address again, dcross108@gmail. And if you want to come on Friday night, please join us. There's going to be, you know, plenty of food for all. I won't buy alcohol, but I'll buy you some food. I'll buy you some chicken wings, maybe, you know, buy you some sliders and that kind of thing. But come by, say hello. And if you want to help out with, you know, pushing out the propaganda and that kind of thing, or telling the story about, you know, about the folks you see here tonight, we'd love to have you involved in that.
All right. Well, guys, again, like I said, thank you. I just want y'all to know this is it's been amazing turnout. We've got over 330 people watching this. That's by far the biggest. Like the last one was like about 180. So you guys have taken the cake. Thank you. And I wish you all the best. I know I'll be seeing a lot of people Saturday. You know, I will be out probably late Friday night. I have actually work. So you'll see me trotting around in my orange, dirty work shirt because I won't have time to go home and change. I look forward to seeing everybody, meeting the new people. Yes, we'll be at the convention Saturday. I wish every single candidate out there the best of luck. And above all else, pray, each one of you pray and come into the convention with a positive attitude, with some love. Be ready to handshake and pat people on the back, and let's make this thing a good. Let's turn this around into a positive convention and walk home with our heads held high. Let's
win.
That's my prayer,
Yes.
folks. All right, y'all stay on for 30 seconds, guys. We are getting out of here. This will be my last live for 2 weeks, and I will see you about the third week of June.
Legislature legalized unverifiable voting in 2000.
Like you said, to Trump, but they're getting greedy.
They said, go out there and rob these houses and bring back the bounty, and then that'll pay your way.
Because Republicans who get endorsement from the area that they mean anything.
You can't sit on the sidelines any longer. You must get involved in the game. This is your sign.